This video is brought to you by Squarespace. What's up guys, I'm randomfrankp, and today's video was pretty difficult. We're going to be checking out the Logitech G935 wireless surround sound gaming headset. And this may look familiar to you because it's essentially the G933. If you remember a few years ago in 2016 I reviewed the G933 and I pretty much hated it. Didn't like it at all, and this is a clone. Same things I hated then, not a big fan of now, but it has one redeeming quality that might be able to save it. So if you're interested in these, sit tight, you're going to want to check this out. So when you first lay your eyes on them, yes, it's the same shell. It's the exact same look as that G933, all the way back from 2015, and visually nothing has changed. We still have the RGB lighting integration, the plethora of buttons on the back of the ear cup, removable covers on the ear cups, all things I'll complain about, so just hang on. On the back of the left ear cup is where all the magic happens, and by magic I mean nightmares. You have your power button up top, a G1, G2, G3 button, a mic mute button, and the volume wheel. And while sure, usually you know more buttons the better, this isn't a keyboard guys, this is a headset. Trying to press one of those buttons on your first try will be damn near impossible because A, there's 6 total buttons on the ear cup, so good luck, and B, it's on the back of your head, you just simply can't see what you're pressing. Speaking of not being able to see the back of your head, let's talk about that RGB light strip, huh? If only it had a purpose. It doesn't really. You can't see it. If you're streaming, your viewers can't see it. The only person who can see it is the guy creepily hiding outside your window. Moving along, the covers here on the ear cups are removable as I mentioned. One of them houses the battery, which is removable, which I think is pretty pointless unless they would have provided a second battery inside the box for you. Otherwise, why have us swap it out? And then the other ear cups where the wireless dongle is stored, and that makes sense, but I just don't see the point for removable shields here. It's not like they're making custom design ones for you to customize your headset, kind of like they promised. Yeah, I remember. The ear cups do turn to lay flat on your desk, around your neck. That's always something I like. There are, however, these gloss accents on the yoke of the headband, which is pretty silly considering you touch these constantly to take them on and off your head, and you're no doubt going to cover these with fingerprints. This time around, they ditched the vented mesh ear cups from the G933. We now have these leatherette paddings for your ears, and there is definitely ample padding here. It's still an over-the-ear design, it's pretty cushiony, and we do have a strip on the top of the headband too. The ear cups are this rhombus-like shape, so more square than most headsets that are circular or oval, but it didn't bother me. As for comfort, they do extend to fit a pretty large head, although just by themselves they're pretty big and bulky as it is, emphasis on bulky. And just like I complained about with the G933, with just the slightest twist of the headband, they make a sound you don't want your headset to make. Yeah, you just don't want that. Now, while I didn't have any issues with pressure or anything like that, one of the things that's kind of strange about this is how the ear cups, they kind of protrude outward toward the back. And as you can see, the ear cups here with the headband, it's more so holding it by the front. So the center of balance here and the weight distribution is way off. When you put them on normally, it takes like just a few seconds for them to slide right off the back of your head. So you kind of have to like angle them forward a lot for them to fit comfortably, which also just feels kind of awkward. Next up is the mic. It sits tucked away in the left ear cup, and when you pull it down, you can slightly adjust the angle with the retractable gooseneck. Every time you lift it, right in line with about your nose, you'll feel a little bump in the mic, and then it's going to be muted. So you can quickly just adjust it and push it out to meet your mic if you're about to have a meltdown. Then it's going to be a little audible beep letting you know that it's muted, and a little red light on the mic is also going to illuminate to let you know that it's muted, which in return also really makes that dedicated mic mute button on the back of the ear cup pointless. But I'll do the mic test now so you can hear how it sounds.
All right, this is the raw unedited mic test for the G935. And as you hear, it's just like the G933. It's still stuck in 2015, honestly. It's that typical tinny, distorted mic test that you've heard probably tons of times from crappy headsets with crappy mics. There's like that level of just fully lacking on pretty much every level. I'm not impressed with it at all. I'm not happy with it. And just like the G933, it's just typical 2015 style here. It's probably the same exact mic, the same exact capsule that was in the G933 4 years later now. So yeah, I'm definitely disappointed with it. That's going to be a no for me, dog.
And all throughout this video, I've pretty much knocked every single thing about this headset so far. The one redeeming quality is the audio. You know, the most important thing about a headset, there are these new 50mm drivers that did impress me. So while gaming, I'm always one to say, you know, either use regular headphones or keep the EQs and everything stock. Stereo is usually the way to go. But honestly, their surround sound here is really good. It brings this sense of wideness to the soundstage, which most closed-back headsets typically lack, and honestly, this is probably the best sounding emulated surround sound that I've heard. While adjusting the EQs is only going to let you get more out of your sounds, so you can decide whether you like more kick to the bass when explosions go off, or you want emphasis on vocals and the highs when you're gaming. Not only that, but with surround sound, that's obviously giving you more of an edge in terms of directional audio, which is important in most games. I played a ton of Apex with these, and numerous times this headset made it easier for me to say, all right, there's someone upstairs to my left in the building, or northwest around 3:30, I hear shots. Not just, oh, there's someone above me, or I hear shooting in front of us. I'm always the first person to knock emulated surround sound, but this is good. My 2 cents, if you're listening to music with these, keep everything stock, no EQs, no surround sound, because music wasn't made to be listened to via these emulated surround sound via software, so everything just gets really shallow, it sounds. And also for bass in the software, do not touch that bass dial because it just makes it sound extremely muddy in music. So for gaming, great. For music, the complete opposite of great. And as pointless as it is, let's check out some of the RGB. First, to give you an idea of some of the more interactive ones, one effect is the audio visualizer, and it's not brand new or anything. You can have your audio kind of pulsing in the visualizer effect in the back of your ear cups. Yeah, sure, you know, works for audio being played, so there you go. Next, while definitely better suited for other peripherals, is their screen sample effect, where you can set 4 targeted areas on your screen from the software to kind of like grab color from, and it's all going to be kind of mashed together, and the more common color is going to be portrayed on the ear cups. So in this little time lapse here in Apex, I'm running through the canyon, and you get those like orange and reddish tones. While I'm near a grassy area, it'll be more green. Again, better suited for other peripherals, but it can look cool. Then you have your typical fixed breathing and cycling effect, and as like you can do with other software, you can sync all the lighting with your other Logitech peripherals. But while we're here real quick, we could check out the G-Hub software. The next tab is going to be assignments, and here's where you can change up what those 3 buttons on the back of the ear cup do. They can be audio related, from literally changing things like the bass, the treble, cycling your EQ, switching inputs. They can also be assigned to the macros you create. And then any system function, from media control, a mouse click, or a keystroke, cut, copy, paste, anything could be assigned to these buttons. And again, that's cool, but by the time you actually figure out which button you're pressing, you've pressed every other one but that. The next tab is acoustics, where you can change the volume, the mic output, enable that surround sound. You have the 7 channels there, which you can adjust individually for the volumes of each, plus the bass. Then you have your actual EQ tab with a few preset ones there for you, and an option to go through and then customize the levels and the frequencies to your liking. So while wrapping this up with battery life, I found it was kind of inconsistent for me, but then again, I did a lot of testing and turning it on and off and switching stuff, but I found every hour or so you lose about 10% of battery life. Then that remaining 25% went through in like 45 minutes. So with the lighting on, I got around 8 to 10 hours on average, and when with the lighting turned off, which you should be doing, I found you gained an extra like 2 to 3 more hours. So depending on, you know, your gaming sessions, how long you game per day, probably could stretch these out for 2 days at a time if you have to charge them, which isn't too bad, but that battery life is mostly on par with other wireless headsets out there. They do also include a 3.5mm cable, so you can use these without the battery if it's dead, but you then lose like the software and the surround sound control. So all in all, you heard all my complaints. I'm not gonna do a recap here, but it does have that one redeeming quality with great sound. Like, that's a very important aspect of this. However, this retails for $170, $169.99. Is that worth it? I don't know, man. That's tough. I say no. But then again, you look at the G933, which came out, and that was a very popular, top-selling gaming headset. So while all the things that I knocked it for, you could probably just disregard. You may love this headset. You may think everything I said is pointless. All you care about is sound quality. Then you just have to weigh your wallet, weigh the pros and cons, and decide if the G935 is right for you for that price. Personally, I really wish they would just cut the gimmicks, get rid of the RGB lighting, make a more simple, modern looking headset like they did with the G Pro and the G433, that fabric one. Give us those nice, more modern looking headsets, but with the updated technology and drivers from this in that shell. And cut all the RGB. And cut the price. But for $170, I can't recommend it. It's just too bulky. There's just too many things that I have issues with to be able to recommend a $170 wireless headset. Yes, the sound quality is great, but there's just too many other things that I'm not a fan of. This video is sponsored by Squarespace. Say you want to build your own website to showcase your tech reviews? With Squarespace, you can. They have tons of award-winning templates from numerous different categories to suit your website or your online store, so you can really make it just how you envisioned it. Best part is you need zero prior experience. It's very easy to use with nothing to install, patch, or ever upgrade. Plus, you get their award-winning 24/7 customer service if you ever need any help. To start creating your own website, head over to squarespace.com/randomfrank to get a free trial and 10% off your first purchase. Again, that's squarespace.com/randomfrank. So guys, that'll wrap it up for my review of the Logitech G933, just kidding, G935 headset. Hope you enjoyed. If you want to check it out, I'll put a link for you in the description down below. If you like this review, give it a thumbs up to show your support. Feel free to follow me on Twitter at randomfrankp. And lastly, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. Well, I'm Random Frank P. Hope you enjoyed. Have a good day.